So, a formal welcome, Mohit, and first of all, congratulations for clearing both ISP and IIM Ahmedabad this year as a reapplicant, which makes it further sweeter. I'm pretty much sure.
Thanks a lot, Anshu.
Once when you don't get something at your first attempt and you finally end up getting more than what you thought you will get, it is the victory is much bigger. So, because this information even I don't know. So, uh, your 715 GMAT score was the same last year as well.
Yes, yes, it was same.
Okay. And last year, where all had you applied?
I had applied only for ISB round 3. That was in round 3.
Round three, and you reached till interview stage as you had mentioned.
Yes, yes. I went for the interview.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So, guys, before I proceed, I want to ask all of you, should we first start talking about GMAT preparation with Mohit, or should we jump to the ISP and IIM Bangalore application interview things first? Please, you can unmute and you can ask, or you can put it in the chat also. Not doing any poll or something, because it's not like there are 100 people here. It's a small group. So
Okay.
please just put it in the chat. What do you want? Where do you want to start with? I have got only one response in the chat.
GMAT.
Okay, GMAT. Okay. Okay, perfect. I think most people want Jinendra has asked for interview. I understand. Okay, we will try to flip between GMAT and
And
application
interview.
interview so that people who are here to know more about interview and application and all, they don't need to wait for very long. Okay. So Mohit, you got 715 in your first attempt, right?
Yes, yes. It was my first attempt.
Okay, what resources you used, how long it took you, and everything that you want to summarize and tell
Sure, sure, sure.
me. Yeah.
So it was when the GMAT announced of the focus edition, I started to understand about the GMAT focus. It was in June 2023, and it took me around 3 to 4 months for preparation. And the resources which I followed was basically the OG, the official guide of GMAT Focus, that is available on their site. I took official tests that are given by GMAT. That are 6 tests, and this was the resources that I used. And the time was for everyone. It was 2 hours daily, which I ensured for continuous 3 months that I don't deviate from that schedule. And before 1 or 2 weeks before exam, I ensured that I don't read anything. I don't do too many questions. I just focus on my mocks. I appeared for nearly 5 to 6 mocks in 10 days time, and still my scores were fluctuating from 715 to 625 in the mocks. But the confidence which I gained from official was that I'm there. I can do around 645 and above, because the scores were the precision was good, and it helped me to go ahead with my exam in November 2023. And it's not only about the resources which I would like to mention. It's about
Good.
how you get into it, because it's not only official guide is something which you need to practice, not only based on the questions but the explanation that it gives after you answer the questions. The explanation that you get in the book at the end for the English, maths and quantitative, it's good. Okay, as Indians, I know we can easily do it for GMAT, but the English is something which takes a time, and the explanations that are there in the official guide is something one needs to understand properly to move ahead in the GMAT preparation, which I feel. And if there are any specific questions from people, I would like answer that.
Yes, I would request people to unmute and ask questions of anything that you want to ask about GMAT. And if you are doing that, ideally you should also switch on your camera just for better interaction. You guys can unmute and switch on your camera as well. I have given the rights to you. Anyone?
Hi,
Vishal?
Mohit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Devansh,
BITSoM.
please go ahead. Vishak, also don't write in the chat. It's better if you ask. Yeah, Devansh, please go ahead.
Hi, Mohit. Firstly, thanks a
Hi,
lot
Devansh.
for taking out the time. Um, what were your reference material or resources for going through the concepts? If you were already good at the conceptual understanding, then it's different. But did you refer to some materials or resources for conceptual understanding?
So conceptual, you are asking for quant. Then I had good means I had some hold on quant before I proceeded with focus GMAT exam. But concepts related to the English or the verbal, uh, everything I used only official guide. What I would like to mention, because everything is mentioned very clearly. The initial text also, when you follow from the official guide, na, they're just like Bible. It's like how you take it. What I felt. It's how you understand the concepts that are mentioned in the official guide. Moreover, I also missed one thing is that I used GMAT Club at last after I finished off my official guide. The GMAT Club gives you rights to access questions from different materials, single question at a time, but it gives you that privilege to try out. So I use GMAT Club for 15 days to take the difficult questions that are in the range of 800 plus questions for English, basically, not for quant, English and DI. That's the new thing in focus. So I use GMAT Club daily, around 15-20 days to only practice the difficult questions, one single at a time. That also helped me because of OG English and the Manhattan or the different verbal questions that you can access from GMAT Club also give you an edge. Okay, where are we with respect to our preparations? Am I doing good or there are some hiccups in between? So that also gave me a bit of confidence when I appeared only the difficult questions from GMAT Club. Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Vish Vishak is asking, is there any real edge for GMAT over GRE for ISB application or EPGP? I applied with GRE. No, there is no real edge. This is a very, very big. Someone had asked this in the group also. There's a big rumor. There is no truth to this rumor. Mohit got into IIM Bangalore with GMAT, but Ankita got into IIM Bangalore with GRE and ISB also with GRE. Mohit and uh, Ankita both literally have the same combination of admits, ISB and IIM Bangalore. And Mohit got in with GMAT, she got in with GRE. In fact, she had to shift to GRE because she was not able to get a good score in GMAT last year. So Vishak, this I understand this rumor is floating. There is no truth to it. They do not discriminate between GMAT or GRE. No one does. And if someone has to discriminate, they will not take it. For example, take the example of IIM Calcutta. They don't take GRE. They don't accept. So please, there's nothing wrong if you applied with GRE. Please work hard on your application and interview and other components this year. You don't really need to change the exam until unless the issue is कि आपको exam ही बहुत difficult लग रहा है. जैसे generally it happens, GMAT gets very difficult for people, then they shift to GRE. It's not necessary that GRE will find it easier, but I have seen that people are able to take this shift and get a higher score, higher percentile in GRE easily. Yeah, Chinmay, you had some question.
Hi, Anshul.
Hi.
Congratulations, Mohit.
thanks.
Mohit, I just wanted to know the strategy for DI. Actually, I have a very huge time constraint while doing DI.
Okay.
I'm not able to complete my exam in DI. So how did you strategize? Can you please suggest for DI especially?
So, Chinmay, what one strategy that I adopted was basically in DI there are five types of question. What we see, that is
Yeah.
so in one that is multi-resource question is there. Now that we get three questions out of a single passage. For that question, that takes much of the time if you are not able to connect with the question during the exam. So I devised a strategy is that because we are allowed to change three answers in GMAT focus, I try to just pick some answers and move ahead and come back after I finish all my questions. So GMAT focus is giving this option also, and people, what I see when I talk to my friends are people are seldom using this strategy of means to review three questions and changing your answers. So I chose three of my answers in DI. What I can say over here, because I kept the question. So I kept that question to the last. When I finished my complete DI section, I came back to the multi-resource section, the question part, and I appeared it again. So according to me, I feel that question is the time consuming, and the two-part analysis that also takes time for many, because that was difficult for me initially also. So either you can strategize for the multi-source or the two-part analysis in this way. If you face any difficulty, you can skip it, you can answer some random thing and move ahead to complete your paper first.
Actually, when I gave my exam in DI especially, multi-source reasoning came very initially. It was, I think, in fifth, sixth question only.
Okay.
So I thought I also jumped from it, but when I was not able to do it in the last, my score did not reflect very good. Means I corrected 11 questions, and even in spite of that, I got only 73 in DI. So it might also be possible because it was in early stage, so we should not skip it.
So can you just give me a minute? I'll just connect my headphone. There are some noise at my background. Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah, there is some noise coming. Meanwhile, people who would want to ask anything about interview, difference between ISB and IIM Bangalore application or anything, you can please put it in the chat right now because meanwhile he's fixing whatever went wrong. Please put it in the chat so that I can prioritize those questions.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible. Please
Yes.
go ahead.
Can you please repeat, Chinmay, your query once?
While doing my exam in DI, I got multi-source reasoning very initially. Means it
Okay.
was fifth, sixth question only. I also skipped it because it was very time taking. So, but my score did not reflect very well. Means after doing 11 questions correct, I got only 73 in DI. Though in my in the mock test in 11 questions I was getting 78 79 in DI. So it could be the reason because initially I skipped the questions, so I got the less score.
So, did you answer that multi-resource question correctly after you skipped
No,
and
no,
you
no,
went back?
no. These
No,
three
na?
questions were
Yes, yes.
incorrect.
Yes, that's the reason. Because, so did you come back after completing your DI? Did you come back and reviewed that question once?
No, I could not come back.
Okay. So, because there are some absurd algorithms in GMAT which no one can capture. What I felt, what I can see from my experiences and from my friends' experiences also. Because I also got nearly 5 to 6 answers wrong. My DI was 14, I got correct, and my percentile in DI was 94 percentile still. So
Hmm.
one cannot say what's the algorithm that GMAT is taking into calculating or to get the uh, marks. But your strategy was good, what I felt.
Okay. Okay.
But
Thank you, Mohit.
but but when you skip questions, na Chinmay, if
Yeah.
because when you're skipping a question, you're spending very little less time for that question. So I think that in some way that can bring some negative marking. If you can come back again, review it, that I think can boost your marks. Based on my
Okay.
experiences only, I'm talking.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you, Mohit.
okay.
Okay, so Jinendra has asked a very good question. If there was anything that went wrong in last year ISB interview, so it's a great question to ask any of the reapplicants so that they can actually tell you what someone
Went
should
wrong.
do to better the chances of getting an admit. So Mohit,
Yes,
please.
yes. Sure, sure. Actually, Jitendra, I'll just share my experience. Past in last year's R3, I took help of one of the consultant, and the preparation that I did was something what he said me to do. It was not something which came from my heart. It was the biased kind of means the short term and long term goal was biased for me. It was not coming from my heart because
What do you mean by biased?
Anshul, when we had our initial discussion, I said you said me your perfect thing is what you feel is a long term and short term goal. You mention it. I am not going to suggest anything for you based on your profile. But based on my profile, he came up with that you should go for operations consulting and you should align your application in that manner.
Right.
So I went with that application ahead during that time, in my round 3 last year. And during the interview, I was not able to justify my long-term goal in operations consulting, because when we answer about operations consulting, that went ahead. What kind of roles do you want to take? Did you talk to any of the alum from ISB who are part of
Yeah.
such roles?
Most common question. Yeah.
Yes. So they asked me the guesstimate questions. So I went prepared, but somehow I was not able to justify my application during my interview time. What I have written in my application and my answers were, I felt it was not convincing myself. So that's the reason it went wrong. But this year, uh, what how I went ahead was with Anshul. My application was what I wrote. It's what I wanted, because the guidance he provided, means I'm just quoting because that guidance has helped me to write my application. And with all the videos you shared, Ansul, with all the guidances, all the materials that you shared, what I learned was you need to be true to yourself while writing an application. No doubt we need to write something larger of the bit what we have done, but we cannot be just off bit of what we actually want to do. So I tried to figure it out myself. What are my short-term and long-term goals pursuing an MBA? I analyzed my thinking, I wrote it down, and I was able to justify the same, because the same question popped up in my R1 interview also. But there were
Right.
many such hiccups. There were many ifs and buts. They were asking many cross questions around it, but I was able to answer. I was able to justify why I was looking for the short-term and long-term goals, and how my current role is help current role and this long-term goal align perfectly. That justification I felt was better off in this year. So this comparing this to interview, I felt this change, or the change of guidance, the change of looking into the application, the change that Anshul, no doubt Anshul, you gave me, helped me to crack this year. I
No,
see.
I want everyone to highlight to note one thing which we discussed during the session with Navneet also, and I keep saying this very often. Your and this is only true for ISB, not for IIM Ahmedabad, for example. Only true for ISB if you are really serious about ISB. Your interview almost entirely depends on how you write the application. Like your interview revolves around the application only. So if you make some mistakes in the application, mistakes as in not technical mistakes, mistakes as in just random things here and there, you can still get a shortlist. But if you're not able to justify the application in an interview, that shortlist will not mean anything, and you will eventually get a reject. Getting the application right is very, very important, especially your goals and anecdotes for essay 2, because they will discuss the anecdotes. Okay, now tell me, Mohit, what all happened in the interview of ISB this time? Of course, you mentioned about a lot of discussion happened around your goals. What else? Where all did try
Okay.
to kind of grill you or ask more questions, and anything that you would want to share?
So I'll start with the summary. I mean, I'll just summarize my complete interview for everyone's
Yes, yes, yes.
benefit. First it was a basic, it was introduction that the interview asked for me. There were three alums, and in my case, it was each one taking a chance to ask one question and passing on to the other one. So this manner they followed in the interview, and the first alum was basically asking me about my current job role, what am I into, and so how is my job role, and how your job role is aligning with your short-term and long-term goal. So why do you come to choosing into doing an MBA? How it inspired you, or what are the gaps that you found? So it led to you to have a chance for or think about MBA also. So that kind of questions were asked from the first alum. And the second alum came to my projects or some of the achievements, key achievements that I had mentioned in my application. And there were many cross questions in that, because I come from a very niche background, that is R&D sector of automobile, that too from the research and development quality. It's a very niche segment when you talk about, and I have my complete 5 years of experience around it. So the achievements of me, my achievements were not that easy to quantify. And still I had mentioned some figure around it that I had was able to cut down into some 20 odd crores for the company, cost optimization kind of thing. And they drilled me onto it. Ki how could you say that you were the one who was responsible for this 20 crore saving for Tata Motors?
Yeah.
And around it they went 4 to 5 lines down. And is that process was not established before? It's a very well known, or it's a very simple thing what you are mentioning, still you're saying that you were the one who did it. So the grilling happened around my application, that I the achievement that I mentioned in my application, that was saving. So this took around 10 minutes, and for this all the three alum pitched in and asked some of the other question. So basically, what I mentioned in my application, I was able to justify because it was true to me, and I knew that I had done it, and it went well because I took my stand and I did not deviate anywhere because I took that stand. And third, it came to the short term and long term goal. And short term and long term goal, move from you want to move from a quality to some product development or product management kind of role. Why can't you do this within Tata Motors? Tata Motors itself is such a great company. You can switch. And there also I was grilled because what they mentioned is after 5 years you want to switch, and what do you want MBA? Because you had a good career, you had a good progression, you had promotion, you have a decent increase in your pay slip, everything they mention all this kind of thing, but still you want to do MBA. And here the grilling was around how MBA can support you, and why only ISB and why not other colleges. And to
Hmm.
everyone's surprise, I did not mention them that I had applied for any other colleges. They also said me what's my backup plan. So as I'm mentioning that I'm applying only to ISB and no other colleges, uh, there I mentioned I was very firm that I am looking to have my 1 year MBA at India only, due to some of my personal choices. And when we talk about India, it's ISB that comes to your mind, and ISB has mentioned or took uh, has done something great over the years. The alumni base, it's a college that many of us dream of. So I was in that role only. I was mentioning that story only while answering this question, to be frank. And this was whole small summary of my interview. If anybody has any other question, I will elaborate onto it.
That's, I'm so glad you completely described the entire interview experience, because this is a very typical ISB interview of like kind of deep diving into post MBA goals. Then 1 inch wide, 1 mile deep technique of interviewing, which I had already explained when we talked for the first time during your mock. जब एक चीज वो उठाएंगे और उसके अंदर घुस जाएंगे बिल्कुल. How did you do it? Why do you think you did it differently? If given a chance, how will you do it in a better way? What was your particular marginal
हाँ,
contribution in the entire process? What were your learnings? फिर उसी इंसिडेंट में they might ask leadership questions, team orientation question, क्योंकि how did you bring the team together? What
definitely.
initiatives?
I missed this, Anshul, because
अच्छा, they asked that also.
I missed one thing
Oh.
because they asked me what changes have you brought in this 1 year, because I was a
Hmm.
reapplicant. So that
Hmm.
question definitely popped up. What things have you done differently?
Okay.
So I had switched my role. I had moved to a team leader role. So they asked on to also now you have two team members with means under you or the peers you have subordinates you're handling. So what kind of change did you feel going from a team individual contributor to a team leader?
Hmm.
So how you're doing things differently, what your manager did, but you're trying to. So there were some gaps that you might have identified your superiors doing with you. So how you're trying to bridge that? This was a typical question which I got also as a reapplicant.
Okay. So I think it was very much on the expected line. There were no surprises for you.
Yes, there was
Your
no
interview
surprises.
was 100% like a very typical ISP interview. Okay. Now, what happened in IIM Bangalore? What was the difference between these two uh, interviews?
So IIM Bangalore interview was also a kind of typical. What I felt was it's in line with ISB because my interview was went for 20 to 30 minutes, and it all started with the introduction part, my MBA goals, post MBA goals, and my work profile. So in IIM Bangalore, it was different because they talked about technicalities of my work. Here it was all about my achievements, and they mentioned about they went in deep into the Tata Motors strategy as a whole, some technicalities of electric vehicles. So they moved into some technicalities of my work, whereas in ISB, what I felt was more of a managerial skills they were looking into. But at IIM Bangalore, they also wanted to understand how technical strong I am, citing my some of my grades and something. So, do I understand my industry well? Am I aware of the current trends around my industry? Which I felt there was no such questions in ISB. So that was different only what I felt. Otherwise, all such my long-term goals, my short-term goals, everything was in line with what I prepared with you, Anshul.
Okay.
Similar kind of.
Okay. I think I asked whatever I wanted to ask. Any questions from you guys? Any more questions? It can be related to GMAT or ISB or IIM Bangalore. Jinendra is asking just for stat purpose, is there any ratio in ISB interview versus admits? I think 25% is the ratio. Of course, they have not published the stats anywhere, but I remember 4 5 years ago, some very smart, over smart guy from ISB and McKinsey, he had done a guesstimate using some observations कि कितने लोग कितने center में invited थे and all. So he had calculated this, and that 25% of the people will get an admit. Out of four, one will get an admit, three will get rejected. And he had also calculated the overall success rate of ISB would be around 7 to 8%. Matlab, 7 to 8% of the people who actually apply, they end up getting a seat. This 7% is also true for IIM Ahmedabad PGPX. And because IIM Ahmedabad PGPX, at least 2 years ago, they had published the entire data. These many people applied, these many people were interviewed, these many people got the seat. I remember in that they had mentioned they interviewed around 700 something people, and eventually 160 people were given a seat. So 7% success rate from application stage and 25% success rate from after the interview is done. This is the general consensus. Of course, there is no way to prove it for ISP. IIM Ahmedabad had published this data 2 years ago. I have not checked after that, so I don't know. IIM Bangalore also does not publish this data, and IIM Bangalore has decreased the seats also, right, Mohit? So 65 only this year.
Yes, yes.
Last year it was 65 or 75.
This was last year it was 81 or 83. This year
Last year was
75 only.
84, 80 total, 82 or 84. Four were my students. This year,
Okay.
I think it is 65 or 75.
75.
75. Okay.
Yes.
Where the chances will differ for diverse background. For example, say Jinendra, yes, CAs will be considered as diverse definitely by ISB because ISB has a mandate, not really a mandate, but a trend, engineer versus non-engineer. And then they publish this data also at multiple forums that my engineer versus non-engineer ratio is this much. So you being a CA will come under the non-engineer category. So obviously your chances will be a bit higher if you play your cards well. Dhanush is asking, let me know why you chose EPGP over PGP in IIM. First of all, PGP in IIM is for younger people. PGP is for 2 years. Why will Mohit do 2 years MBA after so much of work-ets? I think that's the only reason.
Yes, definitely. No other reason.
No problem, Jiren. Happy to help. If you are not a part of the group, please join because we'll keep having this session a lot in next 1.5 months before these people go to their respective B schools. I have shared the link already. Okay. Anything else?
Hi, Anshul. Hi, Mohit. Mohit,
Dhanush.
first, congratulations.
Thank
Mohit, I just wanted to know if you have any tips for tackling verbal in the GMAT in GMAT.
Okay. So a simple strategy that I adopted, Dhanush, was to completely complete my OG first. And I am not talking about only the questions. I had started with the concepts that I mentioned in the OG, going bit by bit. A simple, what to say, when I appeared for 10 15 questions from OG, I ensured that I spend equal amount of time understanding the answer, the explanations that I mentioned in the rear of the OG book, because the explanations are very detailed. And if you if you understand the explanation, you'll get some crux out of it why you are answering in a different manner or your answers are going wrong in any way. So that was a simple strategy that I adopted in my verbal, and that too at the end of my preparation that I was nearing my exam. 15 days I used GMAT Club to answer some difficult questions, which I mentioned earlier also, to different resources. Because from GMAT Club, you will be able to use different resources questions also, like Manhattan, some OG questions also, past years OG questions also. So that went into my support. Because during my preparation marks, I was getting around 80 percentile in verbal, but at the end, I got around 91 percentile in my exam, uh, my GMAT exam. So that helped me definitely.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, did you also try out LSAT questions by any chance, and were they helpful?
Which question?
LSAT.
LSAT,
LSAT.
No, no,
doesn't
no.
even know.
No,
Okay.
I don't.
I
Okay.
don't think they are too
Because
difficult, right?
though I think I was advised by many persons that you take GMAT questions, Manhattan guides. But what I stick towards OG only because I felt that they are like kind of Bible. And what because I read many resources, not only from the Indian students, I read some of the advices and reviews from foreign means abroad students also. So many students who have got actually good marks in GMAT, they simply mention that GMAT OGs are the Bible for appearing GMAT, and other are the gimmicks only. What I found. So I tried my luck and I tried preparation also. It was not luck because hard preparation I did. It was 3 months, 2 years, 2 hours daily, and I did not deviate from the preparation schedule. What I can say you, 3 months I took 2 hours daily, and
Oh,
and
that's
I
awesome. Can you also please shed some light on how your road to ISB is going to be? Because I've heard that there are a lot of pre-work that you have to do before you join.
uh,
So, is
this
there
is
something that?
if you can elaborate your question a bit, means through my application per se, uh, I can say how I started again because in round three, after I appeared for GMAT Focus in November 2023, I just had a month to prepare my application in round three in 2024 last year. So there I didn't have much resources. I didn't explore much. But when I started this year I can say. Uh, in month of May, I got a reference from my friend to join Faith Career Group, WhatsApp group, to understand what people talk about ISB. And the Faith Career Group had been my sole guide towards ISB this year. I can, I should say it proudly because the resources that I got from this group was not only related to the ISB application, it was a whole round development of a person, I can say. Uh, I was able to understand myself better because the way Anshul starts your preparing now, he wants you to analyze your complete career starting from the school the achievements which you may not remember also. Because when I started, that helped me a lot to pickpocket everything into a single bucket. Everything was available to me. Moreover, the videos and the guides that he shared with me helped me to understand how application is built. Because last year, what I did was I answered some of the questions to one of the consultant, and he built the essays for me. But this year is not different. I read many examples. I read many resources. I understood what how application is built upon. So building on upon application is something that boosts your confidence, what I felt. It boosts my confidence. I explored ISB more thoroughly because every time Anshul mentioned is that you explore yourself, go beyond and explore yourself because that gives you a confidence. Spoon feeding is something that will anyway it led me into a whole into some obstacle that I faced last year. So this year was different. And while preparing my essays, Anshul, also you can say that my essays were not that much. Uh, there were no much edit, Anshul. What you can also say because
No edits.
everything, no, because everything was so much explained in such a manner that you are yourself writing that application, and when you are able to do it, now so after writing the application, that confidence comes to you yourself. And post that, when that interview call came, I was relaxed because I had my IIM Bangalore admit at that time. When
Already.
yes, I had already Bangalore admit, and I went straight and very cool minded into the interview. And moreover, this year there was, I missed saying, was essay round is also there for ISB. They have started this round to just
I want to stop you there. Vedant has asked this question. Any tips for the two essays on the interview date for ISB?
okay,
So,
okay.
Vedant, I want to tell you one thing. I saw you joined the group and you left it after registering for the call. That's why you should be staying in the group. This group is a gold mine if you are a serious ISB aspirant. Anyway, I
Okay.
have mentioned this many times. I said it even before R1 that these two essays are of no use. Okay. No one is reading them. This is just to keep them busy. I know people who had been preparing for these two essays, ignoring the interview preparation. So please don't be one of those. I know, I think your interview is this weekend, coming weekend. So please don't care about those two essays. Yeah, Mohit, do you want to add on to that?
Definitely, because I also didn't prepare anything. It was just a 20 minutes browsing because they want to understand whether you're able to write a proper English or not. Because
Yeah,
ChatGPT role is there, and
that's
they just use a software which can mention that your grammar and everything is correct or not. Which I felt, and that software also I searched online. It basically measures your verbal strength to the essays, and there are situational based essays. Nothing to prepare, just to come up with your wit and answer. And for the interview, or I've already mentioned my experience. If you want something, some other elaboration, I can do. And just to quote another, for the interview part, what we started, Anshul, do you remember for the first IIM Bangalore mock that you took in the month of August?
no
And it was
long
a
ago. Yeah. Yeah.
miserable one. Because miserable for me, because there were many hiccups. There were many points that I was missing upon. There were The preparation was not at all at par to appear for any B school interview. So the mock really boosted my confidence. It might happen that there were many feedback that you mentioned, Anshul, and I worked upon it only. There's some uh, Bible questions of for interview which I was not able to answer. So that
I
mock,
also saw one thing that you had great improvement between first and second mock. After I am Bangalore mock, when you did ISB mock, first mock with me, like great improvement. So all credits to you because uh, there was big improvement between just two. So that feedback, I mean, you really worked on everything, almost all the feedback. So I was kind of confident after your first ISB mock only. I was not confident for you for I am Bangalore, to be very frank, because we only did one mock.
yes, yes,
And then
you
I
did.
didn't know if you have worked on the feedback or not to check.
Yes, yes.
But by the time you reached ISP, I was very happy. Yeah, Udit, please type it out. We will answer your question. Continue, Mohit. You were saying something.
I was saying that only appearing for mock didn't help me. It was working on the feedback that our mentor gives us. And Anshul being a great mentor, that feedback was really helpful because the small improvements that I made through that feedback helped me to confidently go into the IIM Bangalore mocks, IIM Ahmedabad interview, or ISB interview. I appeared for these three interviews, but I was confident enough so that because I will be able to answer, and I was confident in my application part. So this is whole because being strong in your application and working on your mock interviews, preparing for the feedback well, has helped me to crack these two colleges this year.
Okay. Uh, Udit, you had something to ask, so you can ask right now. Or meanwhile, you do that. If anyone wants to have any other queries, please let me know. I'm just realizing automotive R&D people, every year at least one person is getting in through me. Last year there were three people.
Okay.
This year you were the only one. But last year also there was someone. I think they are preferring people like you who have like deep R&D
Background.
expertise. How to prepare for GMAT after CAT? What all resources you followed and how does Faith Career comes in play in this? Udit, Faith Career is not really concerned about your GMAT preparation. This you need to do on your own. We have a GMAT group where people are preparing for GMAT together. Please ask your questions there. There are so many people just like you who are shifting from CAT to GMAT. They will help you. We only take care of application and interview part. And I will share the GMAT group link here as well. Any other question?
Hi, Anshul. I
Hi,
have
sir.
one question regarding thing you said that they are preferring automobile person.
Yeah.
So basically, I have my master's degree in bachelor both in mechanical and
Oh,
work ex around 3 years.
nice.
So, just now I started for my GMAT, but meanwhile I got thought like whether they will grill you like you're too from technical domain and
Yeah, they will not grill you. They will ask you the question. See,
like
this is
it's
for
like
you.
mm,
Sneha, sorry
mm,
to
mm,
cut you out. I really want to say this just to you as well as to everyone. Grilling is not something that is happening from their side. Grilling is happening from your side. If you are not confident about the answer, you will feel grilled.
yeah, that's
Very
true.
confident. They will ask something and you'll confidently reply. So if you're not prepared for that answer, that, oh, your profile is too technical, how will you contribute to the MBA cohort? Why do you even want to pursue an MBA? What is the need of an MBA for such a role? How will you manage business studies because you are coming from too technical a background? So in that case, if you have not prepared, you'll feel great. But if you're prepared, well, you will not. You'll confidently answer. You have to figure you for R&D people. I always say I have said this last year to the three R&D people who went to ISB, IIM Ahmedabad, and IIM Calcutta respectively. Devesh went to ISB, Priyanshi went to IIM Ahmedabad, and Sneha Siddha Sangha went to IIM Calcutta. That try to connect even in your R&D career. There must be some managerial work that you must have done. Some
Yeah.
managerial work, try to connect it with three things. And these three are the parameters that ISB looks at. ISB literally marks और जो इंटरव्यू में ये पैरामीटर में मार्किंग होती है लीडरशिप टीम ओरिएंटेशन एंड अपस्किलिंग so try to orient your answers in a way that you highlight these three somewhere
Mhm.
okay in the application and eventually in the interview. That is the trick for R&D people to get in. If
Actually,
you are from automotive and mechanical R&D, message me. I'll put you in touch with these people. These are amazing people.
okay.
Of course, my ex-students, so they will be willing to help you. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, very, very nice people. I mean, I have met Priyanshi. Coincidentally, I have met all of them personally also. Sneha Siddha and Devesh came to, because they were in Gurgaon. They were in Delhi NCR. They came to Gurgaon to do face-to-face mock with me. Devesh, I met again in the campus at ISB when I was visiting. And Priyanshi, I was visiting Ahmedabad, so I visited the campus, so I met her. All are from automotive mechanical background. And then
Okay.
it is here now.
Because the thing is, I was asking because I have a 3 years of work ex as of now. Like
Tell me
initial
your work-ex. Tell me your work-ex by March 2026.
by March 2026, it will be around 4 years, 2 months.
Yeah, so exactly you will be having the work-ex of Priyanshi. So you will be eligible for ISB and IIM Ahmedabad, not for Bangalore, Calcutta.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay, Udit, I am currently working in pharmacovigilance domain and working as an IT consultant with a US-based pharma company. In this, I have 6 months internship and 6 months full-time till now. Yeah, Udit, you can apply to PGPYL at ISB, not PGP, because till next year you will not be having 2 years of full-time work ex. So you can apply to PGPYL, and I do not discuss anything related to my consulting and all in these kind of calls. You have to DM me. There's no other way. I don't discuss anything in these calls. These calls are literally only for knowledge sharing. Arvind has asked a very good question, which also shows that he is not a part of our group yet. Otherwise, no one would ask this question if he is a part of the group. Is the admit solely dependent on the interview performance, or is just a part that makes up the final composite score? This differs. For ISB, this is the latter. Interview is just one of the five parameters that they look at. Your interview score. Interview score itself is decided by your marks in 20 to 22 different parameters. I cannot list them right now because they are 20 to 22. I can discuss those parameters later. On the basis of those 20 to 22 parameters, you will get an interview score. Your interview score will get added to these four scores. Listen to me very carefully. Your application quality score, your LOR score, your GMAT score, and your ACADS, that is 10th and 12th and graduation. So this will decide they will add up and then they will decide if they want to give you an admit or not. IIM Ahmedabad is not the case. IIM Ahmedabad, once you reach the interview stage, it is all about interview. That's why Swapnil got in with a 590. Swapnil got in with a 590 to IIM Ahmedabad. I know someone personally who was rejected at a 770 in Classic GMAT by IIM Ahmedabad. 770, which is I don't know how much percentile. So it depends on the school. IIM Bangalore, I am not sure. Mohit, what do you think? Do they look at comprehensively or they only look at interview?
Because what we can see in current batch also, there are people with 640 GMAT Classic also, and engineers also, that too, 640 Classic.
Yeah, no,
So,
IIM Bangalore is biased towards engineers, so that you have to take care.
okay.
They want engineers.
Okay. Means both carry weightage, but I think interview is a bit higher.
Okay. Udit, this cannot be answered right now. It needs a very detailed discussion on your profile and everything. Post MBA goal is not that easy. Ask Mohit. Not that easy to immediately decide.
Definitely.
Yeah, because that post MBA goal needs to be defended in the application and in an interview that to defend it successfully. And that one question can make it or break it for you. So we will discuss later. Don't worry. Okay. Arvind, I request you as well to join the group because I don't think you're a part of the group. Otherwise, you wouldn't ask this question because I keep talking about it at least once every week. What is the importance of interview? What is the importance of, GMAT score? What is the importance of application, etc. for different B schools in India? Okay. If there are no other queries, then I think we can call it a day and enjoy our Saturday night, which you have very few left, Mohit, because once you go to ISB, your weekends will become mad. In fact, the weekdays are better at ISB. All the submission deadlines are on weekend, and you will only have classes 4 days a week. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday will become very painful. Okay.
We have already get a test of it.
Ah, actual test you'll get only once you then that experience cannot be lived vicariously. It can only be experienced on your own. Okay, so you are going to Mohali, you said.
Yes.
Okay, ठीक है. For Hyderabad people, though, I'll be there to welcome them. Mohali,
Okay.
I'll mostly try to come when the summers are done. I don't want to go to north in summer.
Definitely.
हाँ,
Please. It would be
great.
great to meet you in person, Anshul. I'm just
No,
waiting for
we
the time.
we will. I have almost met all of my mentees in person, so I will meet you. Don't worry. Great. And as I mentioned with the call with Nonit also, this does not end here. I will all. That's the reason I made a Faith Career alumni group. No matter where you need me, maybe you'll become much more smarter in a few months and you'll not need me. But if you do, I will
Definitely.
always be there. Okay. Chalo.
Thanks a lot, Anshul.
Great, great, and have a
Thank
great
you, everyone. Okay.
bye.
Good night.
Bye
Bye.
bye.